Good afternoon. Well, I debated on doing a live stream, and it was a very easy place. I didn't have to fight with myself very long about it, you know, and it's the whole mama bear and her husband deal with her daughter, and her son got involved. And, I listened to it on Brooks's yesterday, and I think everyone probably should have kind of just stayed out of it. And I think that the reason why is because if you want it to go to court, there's some things that have to be a certain way. Now, the girl in question, she was saying that she was intoxicated and that she always tells the truth when she's intoxicated. And, then there's some talk about getting her a lawyer, like, in those situations, like the state is your lawyer. And so I don't really know what the end game is, but the gal at one point said there were 3 policemen that were coming down her driveway, and then it was just sort of never talked about again. And then, her brother came on, and I heard Andrew this morning talk about some stuff between this girl and her brother, and that he said he couldn't confirm or deny anything. And then the way Andrew, quite naturally, Andrew referred to this abuse as, a very, very, very expletive term. I wasn't surprised about that at all, right? So I think the concern is that you report it and you have to wait on, at that point you're waiting on the police, you're waiting on detectives, you're waiting on grand juries. And I've really come to a point where I feel like, as a YouTube viewer of certain things, then I have a voice, to come on the YouTube before it's went anywhere with the courts. I feel like it could be dangerous, because the things that are said on the YouTube, like, you're now making a first initial concrete statement that everything else, let's say when you're sober, is still pinned against and measured by the things you said in the first intoxicated statement. I hate that it's fodder for the YouTube. The young gal said that she had reportedly reported it several times, but it was in the wrong jurisdiction, or not in the jurisdiction that could do anything. Also as a YouTube viewer that, runs across situations like this, it's not for me to talk about, is this a victim or isn't it? You just take it at face value, and then you move forward. So sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, you got to just move forward. And I wish, everybody the swiftest, cleanest justice, right? That's what it ultimately boils down to, right? Like, you're not here to talk about Mama Bear's daughter or her husband or whatever for clicks and views, right? Like, you here thinking that you're doing the right thing, and that, her telling her story before it goes to court while she's intoxicated is a good thing. Now, I guess I'm not really here to weigh whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's probably pretty apparent what it is or it isn't. So, I don't know. Like it's sort of a problem either way, right? You don't want to call Mama Bear's daughter a liar, and then you also don't want to call this man an offender before he's deemed an offender, right? So it's all a scenario that's been hung out to dry on the YouTube clothesline, and it sucks all the way around. But I think that the thing that isn't surprising at all is Andrew referring to a girl's potential alleged abuse as a knob slob. So anyways, great job, Andrew. You just firing on all cylinders all the time, buddy. Anyways, y'all have a great day.